Hi everyone, Calvin here. As you know, our channel is focused on personal growth and professional growth. We talk about educational programs and career advice. Today, let's talk about more personal growth, saving versus spending. I'm not sure if you guys have observed this. If you talk to many of your friends, you'll find out that there are a spectrum of money management. On the one hand of that spectrum is saving money. The other hand is spending money. So basically saving as much as possible versus spending as much as possible. I myself is more towards the saving. And of course, I'm not saying spending is really bad, because these people who spend as much as possible actually enjoy doing so. Just like those people who enjoyed saving. So I'm not saying either is bad. I'm just going to describe my opinion and preferences here. Of course, most of my audience are living in capitalist world. Companies and governments in capitalist world want you to spend more money, and that's a strong force. We have seen a lot of advertisements of great products and services, government's promotion for spendings. For example, as we are gradually pulling out of this pandemic, of course, we haven't fully get out of that either yet. Many governments started encouraging people to spend money, go outside and spend money. One example is that Ontario province of Canada, where I live, they gave maximum $200 tax break for each person for the year of 2022. If the person spend money on tourism in Ontario, you can go to any hotel in Ontario or go to any zoo and you can get $200 covered for the year of 2022. The reason those governments are doing this encouragement is because they want their figures to look nice. They want to get more revenues. Same for the companies, because most companies are for profits. That's a huge force. Based on some statistics, people who are living in cities on average would see thousands of advertisements a day, and that influences their decision, of course. For example, which internet companies you would use, which vacation place you would go, which tourist attraction you would visit, etc. It's great. It's great for the people who have money to spend and who are willing to spend, as long as they're in a healthy range. But personally, I would prefer saving as much as possible, because the nature of capitalism is to let you spend money. And as Warren Buffett said, the nature of capitalism is to take your cash flow if you have one. So my cash flow is a small one, and I want to keep it, and I want to keep it growing. And that's my preference. Especially if you're planning to raise family and have kids, you have to really have a good financial plan. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I would like to be financially more conservative than I was, and I want to be financially smarter too. So speaking of financially smart, there are things that you can do to become financially smarter and efficient. One of them is to understand tax, income tax, company tax, and find out what you can do about it. Another thing is that find out where you are wasting your money. List out your spendings and find out on which of the categories you're spending too much money, more money than you expect. It can be you are eating outside too often, it can be you're drinking too much bubble tea, or it can be you are buying expensive groceries. I understand that inflation has been eating away the real power of our money, but there are things that we can do. Another thing is to increase your income, of course. One way to do that is to leverage this inflation and ask for pay raise and try to sell what you did well. And that's gonna be great. So overall, my personal preference is spend less, save more, and financially become stronger. Because my friends don't do that, but I know there are a lot of people who live from paycheck to paycheck and even borrow money from banks and fund their purchase of the newest iPhone or whatever they prefer. And that's very dangerous, not only in the long term, but also in the short term, especially when they don't have emergency funds for themselves. So one of the things that I personally like is the FIRE moment. It's kind of my aspiration. Financially independent, retire early. But of course, I wouldn't be very comfortable living the same life that those who are in the FIRE moment, but I'm kind of tilted towards that, but not too much. because I still want to enjoy my life with my family. Of course, not by spending too much money. I don't know if you have seen those kind of people who would show off what they bought, where they went, how much money they spend. They're kind of in the end of spending as much as possible and enjoying their lives. I'm not saying that's bad. It's just not my preference. One thing I really don't like about them is that they really care about what other people think about what they wear, what they drive, what they eat, where they go. I personally really like what Mark Cuban said. He said that live like a student forever, even you are millionaires or billionaires, and he is, because the cost of teeny individual is not really high unless they waste your money. Sweet, spend rich. So he's right, and I personally really hope that my audience would listen to my video and make their lives financially stronger and better and become wealthier over time, because it's not a good idea to go into high interest debts like eating in credit cards. That's a huge hole. It's like a black hole. I never been there. I was smart enough to avoid that from very early time. The reason that I personally prefer and also advocate saving and accumulating wealth is because we can't really trust the pension plans provided by our governments. We can't really trust that they would be enough for us to fund our retired life comfortably. So not only I hope my audience would pick up this kind of habit if they haven't, and continues forever, and also teach their children. And I really hope that my future children's will pick them up too, because I don't want them to live from paycheck to paycheck and trying hard to give back money to credit card companies. That would be really terrible. And if they fail, they could end up being on the street, and that will be really heartbreaking. So save as much as possible while still enjoying your life. Don't waste your time and money. Of course, how can I forget to say that please click the subscribe button, smash the like button.